I've already done a couple of videos on the OMEALS Homestyle Meals. I'll put the links down below if you want to check them out. And OMEALS is a relatively new company that puts out these homestyle meals. They also have a few other products, including a line of deluxe meals and cheese bites snacks. And as far as the homestyle meals, they're basically a product that's geared toward the market that's currently served by MRE type meals and freeze-dried foods. Like MREs, these meals are fully cooked and ready to eat. You can just open this up and eat it right out of the pouch. But like with MREs and like with most any foods, it's also better to have it heated up. And this is a nice self-contained way of doing that. We'll get into that when we get into the package. It differs from MREs in that this is just an entree. This package, even though it says meal, is just one 8-ounce entree in here, whereas an MRE is a complete meal. And at the same time, it also differs from freeze-dried foods because this doesn't need any water. It's already fully prepared and ready to eat. It does take liquid to activate the heater, but of course you don't have to heat it. It's just more of a convenience. The nice thing is it can be any liquid used to heat it. It doesn't have to be drinkable water. It can be basically any kind of liquid that you can find. And before we get into these, I just want to mention that OMEALS has chicken, beef, and vegetarian meals. And they also have breakfast meals, which is what we're going to take a look at today. Currently, they only have 2 breakfast meals, plain oatmeal and maple brown sugar oatmeal. Of the 2 of these, obviously this sounds a little bit more tasty. Plain oatmeal seems like a pretty boring thing to spend a lot of money on to to get something that you can heat up some ready-made oatmeal. Oatmeal isn't really all that hard to make, but I believe the price is reflected. I think it's a little bit cheaper to get this than some of the other entrees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make both of these up, and I'm going to use this, especially because of the fact that this is such a boring sounding thing, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to showcase the heaters in here, which if you've seen the other videos I've done, the heaters are much more powerful than the standard MRE flameless ration heaters. They operate on a similar principle, but they generate a lot more heat. In the past I've looked at meal spec heaters, and they seem to be using the same principle. Once they activate, there's a lot of power, they let off a lot of steam. And the thing that's nice is it's, I don't want to say cleaner, but it's a less chemical smell when it's activated. It basically is just steam. It doesn't have that chemical smell that MRE heaters give off. So let's take a quick look at the oatmeal and see what the difference is between these. Here's the ingredients for the oatmeal, the plain oatmeal. Nothing too exciting there. And then we'll compare that to the maple brown sugar oatmeal. Basically the same thing, but with brown sugar, maple syrup, and a few other things. And here are the nutrition facts for the 2 of them. Pretty similar. Let's take a look at what's inside of here. Oh, actually I should mention before tearing off the top, I did this last time too. The top of the pouch also has a Best By date. I'm not sure if you can see it on here, but this one does say Best By May 4th, 2019. And it also has a standard MRE type date code or packing code of 6125, which is most likely going to be May 5th, 2016, because these have a posted 3-year shelf life. Of course, like MREs, if you store these well, they'll last longer than that. And in each of these homestyle meals, this is actually part of the process, we'll see in a second. We have a heating element. We have a little accessory kit, which is very little. It has a spoon and a napkin in it. And we have our entree. This is plain oatmeal. One thing nice about these pouches is that they stand up on their own. And the outer bags do the same thing. To heat this up, all you have to do is take out the heating element, drop it in the bag, the outer bag with the entree, activate it with about 3 to 5 ounces of water, seal this up, and it'll just do its thing. But we're going to do one more thing before we actually activate it. As I said, a serving of plain oatmeal isn't really the most exciting thing in the world. So we're going to look at both of these at the same time. I don't know if I mentioned that. And in addition, just to make it a little bit more of a full breakfast, I'm going to use a couple hot beverage bags, and we're going to make some scrambled eggs in one, and a little instant coffee in the other. As I said, this is just to show the power of these heaters. An MRE heater wouldn't really do much with an egg. It would warm it up, that's about it. But I have a feeling if this is as powerful as I think it is, and as powerful as the meal spec ones, this is actually going to cook this egg. Alright, we'll start with the coffee. I'm going to use some instant coffee from an MRE. This is a commercial one, but same difference. And some creamer. And sugar. Add our water. Give it a good shake, get it mixed up. And I'll take some of the air out of here. Reseal that, and I'll slip that in into maple brown sugar oatmeal. And now for what should be the more interesting part, the egg. You could certainly do 2 eggs. I'm just doing 1, just because it seems like an easy thing to do. And I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to that. Just to give it a little something special. And I'm just going to scramble this up right in the hot beverage bag. It's not going to make a heck of a lot, but instead we're just experimenting here a little bit. Put this in with the plain oatmeal. I want to have the heating element between the 2 items being heated. Alright, now we'll just add the water to activate these heaters. The bag does say to add 4 to 6 ounces of liquid. This is 5 ounces, kind of right in the middle. You see, it is a good amount of water, so it uses a lot more water than a standard MRE heater, which takes about 1 ounce. But as I said, they do say you can use any liquid. It doesn't have to be your drinking water, which you might want to conserve. But we'll put 5 ounces in here. 5 ounces in here. And seal these up. And let them do their thing. These are both reacting pretty differently. I think adding the second pouch may have delayed the reaction a little bit, but they're definitely both working now. For whatever reason, this one is really loud. The water's boiling at the bottom. It says these take 3 to 5 minutes to heat up. We're going to give them a little bit extra time, especially since they have something extra in them, and this one is actually cooking something. So we'll come back in about 10 minutes and check on and see how these are doing. Hopefully that sound won't be too overwhelming for this. And one thing to mention too is that they do say on the pouch here, caution, extremely hot steam from vent hole risk of burning when activated. And it's pretty, you know, it's kind of a politically correct thing that they kind of have to put on everything now. But just to let you know, it is true. I don't know how well you can see this, but this is actually a burn I got about a week and a half ago from one of these heaters. I was doing the video, and when I was moving it around to set up a shot, I got a little bit of the steam on there. Well, it's nothing bad, but you know, week and a half later, I still got the mark from it. So these things do mean business. All right, so obviously all you're going to get with one of these is a serving of oatmeal. In this case, we're going to have 2 servings because we're doing 2 of them. But since we're doing something extra and heating up some other elements, I figured let's try and make this a bit more like a real breakfast. I'm going to add one more element. I'm just going to have some 7-year-old wheat snack bread. Which basically smells like an oxygen absorber. Doesn't really smell much like bread anymore. We'll have that with a little bit of peanut butter. I don't think this is quite as old. And check on this one. This is from 2012. So this is about 5-year-old peanut butter on 7-year-old wheat snack bread. Alright, now it's just a matter of waiting for our oatmeal. Alright, things seem to have calmed down quite a bit here. There's a lot of heat in these bags. Let's see how our experiment went. There's the scrambled eggs. Very hot, and they seem to be solid. That's good. And let's see, the coffee. It's interesting, it has this residue on it from the heater. It's a little bit chalky. But that's incredibly hot. I don't think you really need your coffee to be any hotter than that. Alright, we'll go ahead and plate everything. Let's start with the coffee. Has steam coming off of it. Obviously that just, all it needed to do was be heated up. It didn't really need to be cooked or anything. But the scrambled eggs, on the other hand, that's looking quite good and definitely cooked. Just chop that up a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's a nice little extra use of the heater. And we'll just check out our stars of the show. Our dual oatmeals. Here's the plain one. And of course, I should mention, even though I'm doing this as a review of the tray, these pouches, just like the outer bags, they do stand up on their own, which is nice. You don't need a rock or something when you're heating it, and you can just eat it right out of this pouch. You don't have to plate it on anything. And there's our oatmeal right in there. Yeah, it's nothing too exotic there, just 8 ounces of plain oatmeal. Check out the maple brown sugar one. It definitely has a sweeter smell coming off of it. Interesting, these for some reason these 2 heaters are a little bit different than the last ones, the other ones that I've used. They're still very powerful, but they didn't seem to last quite as long as the other ones, and made a lot more of this residue than I'm used to seeing. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but there it is. You're going to see it on the pouches and on the hot beverage bags. It's just this powdery, this white powdery thing. But then again, I suppose if you weren't doing all the extra stuff we did, you wouldn't be handling these things quite as much and probably wouldn't be as exposed to the powder. So this is maple brown sugar oatmeal. Looks kind of similar, but I think it's going to taste a little bit sweeter. And there's the two of them together. And let's go ahead and dig in. Plain oatmeal. Nothing too exciting. As it says, it's plain. But it does have a little bit of sweetness to it. Let's see, what does it have in it? It does have sweet cream as the fourth ingredient. Sweet cream, corn syrup, sugar, salt. Not a lot of the other stuff, but there's definitely something that makes it a little bit more than just eating oats. Obviously, this is something you could dress up or sweeten up however you wanted to. Or you could just eat it as it is. It's very hearty. And since it's hot, it's something that'll be good on a cold day. It's not bad at all. There's these pretty big pieces of oats in there. But now, I'm kind of a sweet tooth anyway, so I'm sort of looking forward to the maple brown sugar. It'll probably be a bit more to my liking. I'm getting a little bit of that flavor. Maple and brown sugar, a little bit of sweetness, but to be honest, it's not that much different from the plain. Yeah, they're actually very similar. Just a slight bit more sweet on this one. Not as much as you expect. You expect plain and maple brown sugar. You think there'd be a big difference, but it's a pretty mild difference between the two of them. And the coffee is very hot. That's really all I can say about it, because obviously OMEALS didn't make the coffee, they just heated it and did a very good job of that. Let's try these eggs out before they get too cold. Here's, right now they're a bit more like chopped eggs rather than scrambled eggs, but you get the idea. Yeah, it's really good. It's cooked right through. There's nothing soggy about it. Could have probably even taken it out a little bit earlier. I feel like your egg's a little bit on the runnier side, but that's it's definitely cooked. I have to say, good job, OMEALS heater. It was very, very effective. I think I mentioned before in one of the other videos, it almost seems like a waste to have such a powerful heater when you're just heating up an 8-ounce entree of something that's already ready to eat, fully cooked. So as you can see, you can do a lot more with it. You can make scalding hot coffee, and you can scramble or hard boil an egg if you want. This has nothing to do with the oatmeals, but we'll try our 7-year-old wheat snack bread with our 5-year-old peanut butter. And incredibly dry, but not bad. And you definitely need some liquid with that. So that was a look at a couple of OMEALS Homestyle Meals breakfast entrees. Plain oatmeal and maple brown sugar oatmeal with a little extracurricular cooking along the way. Thank you for watching. And we'll start off by prepping the coffee. Did that nice little mixing.